Hello everyone, this is Herman from Kashmir Racer and I welcome you to the presentation of the all-new Speed Twin 900. It's really the first time that us, Mr. and Mrs. Kashmir Racer, as you know us, have been invited to such a cool event. So really huge thanks to Triumph and trusting us in taking part in this amazing event in this amazing and beautiful venue in the south of Spain. Yesterday evening we had a lovely presentation and learned a lot about the specs of the bikes. And today we just came back from a fantastic test ride, and so I've got a lot to talk about, and I've made a list with some notes. And apologies for my poor English. It's also the first time that I'm doing a piece to camera, as they say. But we also have a few questions that came up with our followers, and I would like to address them as well. So first, I'm very aesthetically driven, Mrs. Kashmir Racer as well. So we always look first at the aesthetics of a bike, especially when it's new and you haven't seen it before, right? And you immediately see the heritage coming from the typical Bonneville Motors engines. It's a Bonneville 900 engine, and if you look here, you can see all through here, and it gives this light feeling. It takes away this heavy bike feel optically, and also if you look at these architectural lines, this really lovely design it's kind of a forward leaping with this lovely orange and blue colors and in white, very dynamic, sporty, and also the throttle body covers aligned in this line up to where basically everything happens, you steering the bike. What I personally love about Triumph has been always this classic look, right? Round elements coming from, 70 years ago, all the time in the history and heritage of Triumph. The round instrument, a beautiful tank, and this curve of the exhaust pipe, brushed steel, everything feels really good and strong materials. If you look at the tail, I think the tail is probably one of the first things every biker customizes with his bikes, right? Because due to homologation things and so on, usually they come with big chunky tails, right? And you immediately look in the internet and try to get a tail tidy. But this tail is already so tidied up, it almost needs no work at all. I couldn't believe that it's actually come like this from factory. It's really amazing. Yeah, but still, everyone loves this bike and customizes a lot. And they told us there are over 120 parts, original parts from Triumph. You can fit your own bike and make it completely your own. This is really, really nice to know. One really big point I immediately noticed was the size. It's always a topic for me and also for Geneviève, Mrs. Kashmir Racer, who you all know is a singer and opera singer, and she's really sorry that she couldn't come, but I try to fill in as best as I can. And for us, we are not very tall, both. We always squabble a little bit about who's taller, and I would say I'm taller, but she's saying she's taller. But I'm 175 centimeters tall, so not very tall. It's about 5 feet, 8 or 9-ish, something like that. And if you look at the bike, I can sit on it and have both feet on the ground. It's very reassuring. It's really reassuring. And how did they achieve that? Actually, in the presentation, amazingly, they said they even raised the seat height and cushion a little bit by 50 millimeters, but the seat is narrower. So your feet go directly to the ground, and for people like me who have shorter legs, it's really more accessible. And also for people with longer legs, they lowered the foot pegs so they don't get cramped up. Yeah, and if you think about, I'm half German, half Japanese, and of course in northern Germany, where we come from and live, Hamburg, is there are a lot of tall people. So this is usually not an issue there. But in a lot of countries, people aren't that tall and still want to ride so beautiful bikes. And I have the feeling that many manufacturers go out and create new bikes that get taller and bigger. Yeah, it tackles that issue. It's beautiful and it's accessible. Yeah. For example, there was a question from Wiki on Triumph, and it says Speedtrend 900, is it better or comfortable for short people with short height compared to the Thruxton or Bonnie? As you all know, we both have Thruxton Rs, and the seat height is there 810 millimeters. And here the seat height is standard 780 millimeters, so 3 centimeters lower, and you can even kit it with a lower seat. So if you feel more comfortable lowering the seat, it's also possible. So yeah, it is more comfortable and more accessible than the Thruxton, definitely, I would say. And also the Bonnie, I think, is also around 810 millimeters. Yeah. Okay, then let's go on to, yeah, the engine. The engine, yeah, it doesn't just look lovely. It's, well, statistics, some statistics, 65 horsepower, 18 Newton meters of torque. This is really the key of this engine, I would say. It's a high torque version of this Bongo 900 engine, and it has a lot of power from below down in the rev range. So you've got 18 Newton meters already ready at 3,800 revs. So even if you have chosen too high gear, it's no problem. After the curve, you can just open the throttle and it goes. You have always enough and sufficient power whenever you need it. Yeah, the sound is just lovely. With all the regulations, the EU is yeah, gripping the manufacturers. They really managed to keep the sound. It's the typical British twin sound that is yeah, that we love, Genevieve and I love from our Thruxton. And yeah, it's a 900 engine, but it sounds as well as the 1200. And it's also, the fuel consumption is actually very good. It's just 4 liters in 100 kilometers. It's 59 miles per gallon. So yeah. Speaking of parts, there are a few upgrades compared to the previous version, especially regarding the shocks and the fork. It's by Mazzocchi, upside down, and at the rear you have Mazzocchi shocks with piggybacks. If you, let me just talk with you about the price. It's just shy of 10,000 euros. Also in the US, it's almost just below 10,000 US dollars. And for this amount of money to get this premium parts is really amazing, I would say. It's really, yeah, great value. It is a modern classic. It is classic looking, but it doesn't lack any modern features, especially for safety. And yeah, for example, LED lights, beautiful. The instrument, you can connect your phone, you can have navigation, you can listen to music, and yeah, and what saved me today, twice actually, is the cornering ABS. On the Thruxton, I just asked On the Thruxton R from 2017 we have at home, there's ABS but no cornering ABS. So it was also something new, and in the morning the roads up in the mountains were a little bit slippery. And it was kind of a shock actually, because I felt the rear tire coming around, and yeah, but I didn't fall. It's I would say the bike, no, I don't just say it. The bike saved me, and it was twice, because on another occasion I had the same one. Yeah, and this is something really spectacular, I think, because it's hidden in the classic optics, but all the modern safety features is included in this bike. You don't see it, but it helps you every day. Yeah, the weight of the bike is 216 kilos, ride ready, with 90% of fuel. You can, for people who are just getting into motorbikes and don't have the full license yet, they can put the engine power down, and also when they get the higher, the full license, they can get it back up. Yeah, what can I say? The test ride was really, it was such a lovely experience. This bike, it's light, nimble, it's so enjoyable to ride. We've been up in the mountains, but also did a little bit in the city here. Yeah, and everything, you can chuck it around. You don't feel that you have to hustle with it. It feels light. Every time you have to immediately stop, I can get both feet down to the ground. It's very reassuring, for me at least. And also when you have to stop in steep places or steep corners, for example. And yeah, it was just really good. You all know we love Triumph, and it's a real Triumph. Yeah, you have to really say it doesn't just look like a Triumph, it really rides like a Triumph. So it was a real honor to being able to test ride it and talk about my experience. And yeah, it's I would say you can have the most expensive fancy motorcycle of the world, and you ride it once or twice or maybe 10 times a year. But this is a bike that doesn't just look good, you can use it for every day, and every day it will make you smile. Thank you for listening.